You're full.
Yeah.
But that's the thing I was saying is like you're not allowed to have a nuanced opinion anymore. You just have to be like, no, I am absolutely, you must believe all women. Did you see that thing I posted the other day about, it was the Me Too backlash is going to come?
No, I didn't see that. How's it going to come? What kind of backlash?
The backlash is the on-campus thing. The basically like the Obama administration and Joe Biden recommended these guidelines for Title IX, and they recommended these guidelines for Title IX, the basically protecting women on college campuses. But the problem is they throw out due process. Like literally, if a guy, the idea is if you get accused, you're basically convicted.
Right.
Guy gets accused, he's thrown out of school, and it's like, well, that's not due process. There were all these things that were like I'd never thought about before, like because I want to believe all, you know what I mean? Like I want to believe that if a woman, I don't believe women have much reason to lie about the shit.
See, well, that's not true. I don't believe that at all because I believe there's a lot of women that have grudges and they're angry and they want to make things up about men. And I know men where that's happened to before. I know men who've been falsely accused of rape and the woman dropped it and told the police that she was just mad at him and she had a vendetta. That happens. It doesn't happen a lot.
Right, that's what I mean. I don't think it never happens. I just think that it's a minor. I think it's just a minor.
I don't know if it's minor or not. Anthony Cumia said something that's really, he goes, calling all women liars is just as crazy as saying all women say the truth.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
You're going to have a certain percentage of human beings that are deceptive.
Which is why I say 97% of women are liars.
No, I think it's, I mean, I don't even want to speculate about what the stats are. The problem is if you're a person who didn't do anything to someone and then they're accusing you of doing something to them and then it ruins your life, that's devastating, and that happens.
So I've been having this conversation. I posted it, and I put on Twitter, hey, if I'm wrong, if this is wrong, yell at me here. Okay. Go ahead. And I was surprised by how few people yelled. No one really got mad, because when you see what the recommendations were, people believe in due process and the rule of law.
They should.
And people know that mob mentalities are not good, and they're not American. I mean, they're not the spirit of America. They are pretty American, actually, but like they're not the letter of America. And it was kind of baffling that Obama and the administration. So what's happening is, so guys are getting kicked out of school. They're getting, what the colleges are following the guidelines, and due process is thrown away. Guys get, thrown out of school, and then they sue the school. And guess what? A lot of them are winning.
Yeah, of
because
course.
It's unconstitutional what the school did. So it's this weird thing of, it's such a fucking sticky situation, because after I posted, a few female friends of mine texted or called me, and one of them said that she was at NYU and was having sex with a guy. He tried to put in her ass. She was like, no. She said no. He said, can I? She said no. And he did anyway. She just froze and was like stunned, frozen, silent. He finishes. No alcohol. No. It just becomes he said, she said. And it's like, what should we do in a society about a situation like that? And I truly don't know. I truly am like, I have no fucking idea.
Well, if she said no and he did it anyway, that's a real fucking problem.
Yes,
that's
exactly.
Rape.
That's rape.
Yeah.
That's rape. But also then it just becomes it's a he said, she said thing.
Right.
There's no evidence
we need better
that she
lie
said
detectors.
No. You know what I mean? Like
we need real lie detectors. I mean, that's really in situations like this where it's one person's word against the other and the result's critical. You gotta. I don't know if that's really possible though. I mean, I don't know of anything that exists or any technology that's on the pipeline.
No, there isn't. So a friend of mine jokingly said that all guys and women need to wear body cams. like cops.
Like cops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of where it is because there again, it is one of these like shit. I don't because
It might be.
You kind of think like, oh yeah, no, it's always pretty cut and dry. And then you hear a thing like that, and you're like, you know what? I don't know what to.
But then no one's gonna. Fuck
Should
you.
that guy get? I'm
That's
don't
gonna be
even
on camera,
right? Now we're into like because I go, oh, guys shouldn't get kicked out of school. There should be due process. Of course, there should be due process. Then I hear a story like that, and I'm like, fuck, man, I don't know. Maybe that guy shouldn't be able to go to school. I don't know. I don't know.
So he lied, and he said that didn't happen?
She didn't press charges or anything.
Oh, okay. Okay. Which, by the way, is super common. So when you take into account rape, the number of rapes that get reported versus the number of rapes that don't get reported.
It's like it's a drop in the bucket. And when guys go, well, why don't girls report it? Dude, you don't like going to jury duty. And that's a week. You think a girl wants to talk about her fucking vagina for a year and a half?
Not just that, the stigma of running around knowing that everybody knows you were raped. Like having that feeling where people are judging you or staring at you or talking about you for nothing that you did.
No, nothing. It's like literally as these things happen, because you read these, a lot of the times it feels like the choice for women is, as it's happening, it's like, fuck, I have to make my life about this now. My whole life has to be about this for at least a year and a half. Cops, lawyers, fucking court dates, all just like a nightmare.
For one evening.
Nightmare. Yeah. That you likely did nothing wrong.
Right.
You just, and now it's like getting in a horrible car accident or something. And again, I don't know what the solution is, because as a comic, my first, and being contrarian, I go like, well, what did they do? What did they do? All the things, and it's like, no, most of these things are wrong place at the wrong time with a piece of shit, dude.
Yeah. I mean, due process is significant, though. It's gigantic.
I know.
You have to have it. Look at what happened with the UVA case in Rolling Stone magazine.
Yeah.
They printed this stupid fucking lie, this crazy story that really becomes a problem because there's real rape going on all the time on campuses. That's happening for real.
I don't believe that girl wasn't raped.
The UVA story?
Yeah. I believe that she was raped. I don't think it was the 15, like the way something happened.
Are you sure?
What do you mean?
Why do you think that? Because I think they proved that she wasn't even there, and that she was never in that
there was
fraternity.
No Roger or any of that shit? Maybe
no, the people were all fake.
Then I maybe didn't read any follow-up.
I think that there's so much evidence pointing to the fact that it was all made up.
Yeah.
That there's very little possibility that something actually happened to her.
Yeah.
I think they've completely dismissed that. I think they think it was just a girl who just made some crazy shit up. Versus the mattress girl thing. The mattress girl one was a weird one because she definitely had sex with that guy, and she definitely wanted to have sex with that guy because she was messaging him about sex and about, I think she said something about bring condoms and you're going to put it in my butt and just a bunch of crazy shit. Like it was sex talk back and forth.
Yeah.
And then she just decided this is an amazing way to be a martyr and to be a victim and to bring that fucking mattress everywhere, including at her commencement speech.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a different sort of case. And that kid is now suing. That kid is now suing that university, and I hope he wins.
Yeah. I hope he wins, and because I think due process is as important. It's literally a tie for first between protecting women and protecting the Constitution. But I don't even the thing that bothers me about even talking about UVA or Columbia is it makes the story about lying women, right? Which is just fucking not. Right. They're the outliers.
Yes, they're the outliers
by an extreme, because they're the outliers.
But they must
the people
be taken into consideration when you can't just completely ignore them in the equation, right?
Well, that's why you need due process.
Yeah, that is exactly why you need. And we also have to stop thinking out of it as like men and women. It's human beings. Yeah, human beings involved in these situations, and we have to treat them like equals. Do you know the story about Occidental College in LA?
Which story?
Boy and girl get drunk, text each other back and forth. I'm coming over. Do you have condoms? Yeah, come on over. She comes over, or they have sex with each other, and then her friends convince her that because she was drunk, she could not consent, and that it's rape. You know, remember that was a big thing for a while, that if you're not drunk, you can't consent. That was like, for a year or two, they tried to push that until they realized, oh my God, that makes everyone a rapist. So they kick.
I mean, having said that, I think that the part that alcohol plays in this shit
giant.
Is so fucking massive, and nobody ever brings it up.
It's giant. Yeah. If alcohol was complicit in all the things that people did while drunk, the same way the prescription drugs,
business.
yeah, they'd be out of business.
Out of business.
So this guy and this gal have some sex, and it's consensual, 100%. But after the fact, her friends tell her you couldn't consent because you were drunk.
Yeah.
So even though he was drunk too. So you know, people get told, authorities get involved. He gets kicked out of school. She does not. They don't call it rape. They don't press charges. He didn't do anything actually wrong, you know, in terms of the letter of the law, since they're both intoxicated and willing and consensual. But they kick him out of college. And so he's like, well, what the fuck, man? She's drunk too, so I got raped as well. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
It can't just be the man that is doing the raping if you're both intoxicated.
Yeah.
How the fuck am I supposed to be able to consent? So the idea is that this is as much of a male versus female thing.
I had a conversation with a female friend of mine recently, and one of the conclusions was, men don't see women as humans.
Whoa.
Meaning they're like
Less.
they're other. Yes, it's other.
Yeah.
It's other. It's like I'm not saying you're not a human, but you're not a man. You know what I mean? Like there's something of like the way men treat women is not equal. It's just it's other. It's like you're in this other category.
Well, they don't understand them that much because they're not one of them.
Yep.
And if they don't have a good relationship with their mother, it's even worse. Especially if they were raised by their dad alone. Those guys are the sketchiest guys of all.
Yeah.
I'm generalizing, honestly.
I can't even think of one guy like that, but yeah. Meaning I don't think I know any guys like that, but yeah.
I know a guy like that. And sometimes even guys that were only raised by their mom are sketchy if their mom hates women. But the whole thing is, I mean, look, it's just real hard when you start doing this men and women thing, right? Because you're prone to generalizations. There's no getting away from it. But men want sex from women, so they're pursuing women. And do you know any men that you're friends with that you see over time that become more and more bitter towards women because they've been getting rejected over and over, and they associate women with bad feelings.
Yes.
They associate women with negativity. I think men look at women like they're trying to score on a team.
Yeah, it's first base, second base, third base. It's literally like built into the language of how it is a thing that guys conquer. So it ends up being, I've likened it in the past to like Saudi Arabia. We're like fucking towel heads, but because they won't give us the fucking oil.
Right.
Like, no, they don't like you. They don't want to give you, like, but that doesn't mean that they're shitty any more than it means you're shitty if you don't want this fucking kombucha. Like, you just don't, your body doesn't want it. Doesn't mean that her body doesn't want you. Like, but it makes guys, it hurts their feelings and it makes them crazy.
And it also deals with these evolutionary mechanisms that are designed to make sure that we breed. You know, it becomes like a significant issue for you. You want to figure out, how do I get this gal to like me to the point where she wants to have sex with me? Oh, I got to buy the right cars. I got to wear the right watch. I got to do this and do that and say the right things and be a gentleman and hold open doors and all these things that we do. They're like, well, why do men hold open doors? Well, to be a gentleman. No, to show that they're a preferential mate. That's what they're doing. They're trying to con you.
Correct.
And to taking that dick.
Yes. That speaks to your bit about invention. The thing that your invention thing now is that the reason the thing of like why women haven't invented shit is because they don't have to. They don't fucking have to.
It's also the way their mind works. You know, the hunter-gatherer mindset. It's very different with the females in the tribe versus the males, and we're still dealing with the echoes of all that.
By the way, for people that are shallow, we're talking about misogyny right now. Just so you know.
Yeah.
We're talking in theory about misogyny. These are not views that either of us hold. But But
in fact, the opposite. I mean, I have all daughters. You know, I'm used to being around little girls. I know about women more now. I understand them than I ever did. And
how different would your behavior have been 20 years ago if you had the wisdom you have now?
It would be way different. It would be way different. Maybe my behavior. I never did anything horrible. Like my record is clean.
I'm not talking about
think about assault.
Yeah.
But what I am more aware of now is the inner workings of like a female from child to adulthood. I understand that they're just there's a different evolutionary path for their sex, for their gender. There's a whole thing going on that they want to protect the nest. They want to find a man. Like, there's a lot of guys that look at a girl who wants a successful guy, like, oh, she's fucking shallow. She just wants a bunch of shit. She wants someone to pay for everything. Like, there is a evolutionary path where the woman is looking for a man who shows that he is capable of taking care of things while she is held up being pregnant and taking care of the young. It is a natural instinct. It is undeniable. And there are some women that are super strong and super motivated, and they don't have that instinct. Their instinct is to just have a kid, give it to a nanny, get back to work as quick as possible. And you know what?
But I'll tell you what, I bet their husband's tall. You know what I mean? There's still those things of like the evolutionary shit that you can't get rid of. Your body wants to fuck a tall guy.
Yeah.
For protection, all that shit.
For all that shit. Money, height, strength.
Provisions.
Yeah. And the ability to overcome significant situations. Like whenever there's a guy that falls apart under stress is one of the most unattractive things to women ever. Because of the shit
there was a
hits the
study
fan.
where like that I think Whitney and I have talked about where women don't like when guys cry in front of them. They say they want an emotional guy. What they mean is, I want you to listen to my emotions.
Yeah.
I don't want you to be emotional. I need you to be a fucking Marine.
Yeah. And if you're going to be emotional and cry about things, it better be like a brave display of emotions.
Yes, one of your fallen brothers.
Yeah.
Or somebody's, like a baseball player's retiring, some physical thing about the passage of time and brotherhood. That's it.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Yeah, maybe
like
your daughter's birthday party and you're so happy.
Yeah,
maybe you're allowed to cry.
That's the portfolio.
Yeah, but the ability to respond to pressure is a giant one. The ability to provide is a giant one. Physical features, like having strong features, having strong genetics. The woman has to know, like genetically, has to feel like she's being protected. And then there's some women that don't like that at all. There's some women that like bitch men, and we know those women, and they're the really domineering, powerful women, and they have these men that are like quiet and they're sort
Retiring,
of submissive. Yeah, I mean that's okay too, but these patterns that exist, they exist because for the longest time. I mean, look, it's a weird situation when a woman has to be pregnant for 9 months. That's a long time.
Yeah.
Imagine picking a man. Imagine if you're a man and you're picking a woman and you have to decide when you're meeting this woman, is this chick going to be able to keep it together with me while I'm held up, literally held up for a year, like a whole year. For 1 year, I'm going to be stuck in this situation. And then from then, the next 18 years, I'm going to be responsible for the infant that comes out of this union. Like that's so different than our thought process. It's so different. The consequences are so much different.
Men only think about, to me, men want sex. They don't think about, they literally, and then it's just black.
Sure.
It's like sex and then just like black into the distance, infinite blackness.